How's everybody doing today? I just wanted to recap Raw Nationals, almost 1 week post Nationals today. So just wanted to sort of touch base on how everything went, mistakes, improvements for next time, and all that good stuff. So basically, for anybody that didn't watch the live stream or sort of my video post updates, it definitely didn't go as planned as I was hoping for. I went 5 out of my 9 lifts, so after going 9 for 9 at my last 2 meets and having 2 really good meets, building momentum and going into it, it was, not the worst meet of my life, but the second worst meet of my life. So I hit my opener on squats, which felt incredibly heavy and shaky when I unracked it, and then I missed my second attempt, which would have been about a 7-pound meet PR. Retook it on the third and got a little closer, but my legs were just not there on that day. Bench press, same thing, no PRs. I hit the first attempt. It actually felt pretty good. Was a little more conservative just because of the squats on my second attempt. And then on the third attempt, I went for a modest 4 or 5 pound competition PR, about a half pound less than what I've hit in the gym. And it just wasn't there. I got stuck about mid-range. I don't know if it was a technical issue or just the weight drop, which I'll get into here in a second. And then deadlifts hit the first 2 attempts. Both of them felt horribly heavier, compared to what they should have been. Went for a real modest PR on the third one just to try to have some sort of positive takeaway on the day, and that did not go up. Didn't budge. I don't even think I broke the floor with it. So, and I probably knew that in hindsight going into it. I wanted something positive, coming out of the day. So, biggest things reflecting on the meet. I think a lot of people thought I was really down on myself. And granted, it was a lot of, a 14-week devoted prep, plus all the training, qualifying and stuff getting into it. But at the end of the day, powerlifting I love it, and I'm passionate about it, but it's not my life. So I'm not going to go cry myself to sleep about it. That's not my personality type. So, some takeaways. The biggest issue, I'll sort of go through what I think went wrong, but hands down the biggest issue was I dropped too much weight the week of the meet. All our lifters in our barbell club, have been told by me, and anybody that asked me, I'd say, max weight we want to drop in a week is about, 2% of your body weight. 1% being a lot better and more ideal, if we're going to have to cut weight. So for me, that would be about 3.5 pounds, is the most that I should have cut in a week. Sunday morning, I lifted on Thursday, so my whole lifting schedule was a little bit different than a traditional Saturday meet. But Sunday morning, I weighed in 6 pounds over. So, and that's really just an issue for myself as far as discipline, eating. I had a wedding a couple weeks before the meet, and I wasn't as disciplined as I should have been, bottom line, flat out. So, that I got myself into that boat. So Sunday morning was 6 pounds over, and so I was sort of playing catch up with the weight drop. By the time everything was said and done, and I manipulated water and everything, and I didn't eat anything Thursday up until weigh-in. And the weigh-in, it was a 12:30 weigh-in, since I was lifting in the afternoon at Nationals, and I weighed in at 179, which was actually ended up being a 9-pound drop from Sunday morning to Thursday afternoon. So, 3 pounds would have been max in a week, and really I was a little bit under a week, so 9 pounds in basically 4 or 5 days there. So not surprising that the performance just wasn't where it should have been training-wise. So that was the biggest issue, I think, with the day. The second thing, I think, was just sleep and recovery, and I sort of knew that going into it with a 4-week-old baby at the time. It was going to be rough. Sleep and recovery were going to be challenging. In hindsight, I should have tapered more. I should have been a little bit less aggressive with my volume and intensities training-wise in order to try to, not get too fatigued from the accumulation of training. On top of that, usually I don't ever sleep great the night before a meet. This one was sort of weird in that Wednesday evening, the night before the meet, when I went, I actually fell asleep pretty well, but not lifting until 2:30 in the afternoon the next day, not having to wait until 12:30. I was hoping to at least, get to sleep in a little bit, get some good rest. And I actually woke up at 2:30 in the morning and never really fell back asleep. So by about, after I weighed in, and then they were behind schedule after weigh-in, so we actually didn't start lifting until 4 p.m. At about 3 o'clock, I just started crashing, just felt really, really tired and lethargic, and I tried to caffeinate myself back up, but between the weight cut and that, I think those things were sort of working against me. Not excuses by any means, it is what it is, but just sort of some things that I can fix next time going forward. And the last thing is just sort of on that same note is the taper. I didn't adjust my taper early enough, seeing that it was a Thursday lift instead of a Saturday lift. I should have adjusted things a little better, especially with the recovery issue of sleep, which I couldn't. There's only so much I could do about that. But I should have scaled the intensity and the volume down a little bit earlier in my last training cycle. So those are the biggest things. Now, all that being said, like I said, not excuses. It is what it is. At the end of the day, there were 52 competitors in the 83 kilogram open division. So basically, 52 top 83 kilogram lifters in the country, and I came in 44th. So I think I could have done better. I should have been able to do better. But at the end of the day, there's 8 people that I beat at the highest level of competition in the United States. So that was pretty cool. There were a total of 110 lifters in the 83 kilogram weight class, but that's including junior lifters, masters lifters. As best I could tell, looking at all the different competitors, I probably was somewhere around, 50, 55th, somewhere around there, counting all masters, junior, teen lifters, all that. But I should theoretically be at a higher level than most of them because I am in the open division. So, at the end of the day, it gave me a starting point, it gave me a measuring point as far as where I stack up at the national level. And that brings us to going forward, sort of the grand plans going forward, if you will. So looking at the competitors who were placing the top in my weight class, the vast majority of them were all anywhere from 1 to 2 inches shorter than me, meaning, pounds of muscle, of lean mass per square inch. I'm sort of fighting an uphill battle there. When I make weight down to like 182 the last few meets, I'm usually coming around 12% body fat. Most people will tell you, 10 to 15% is sort of like where performance is optimized. You get leaner than that, performance is going to take a hit, you start getting fatter than that, and your Wilks score is going to start taking a hit. So, I've been on the lower end of that, and I think being a little bit heavier kid most of my life, I don't think and even from bodybuilding history, my body does not like to be super lean. So I think I'm on the low end for me. If I look at my body composition measurements that I track, I've got going back almost 3 years now, the heaviest my lean body mass has been is up to about 168, 169 pounds. So that's kind of, muscle, skin, bone, water, all that good stuff. The rest being fat. But at competition, I'm usually right around 150, 159 pounds of lean mass. So I'm losing almost 10 pounds of lean mass. That's not all muscle mass. Some of that is water and whatnot. But at the end of the day, performance is gonna suffer. And at the end of the day, I got into lifting. I got into working out ultimately because I wanted to be as big and strong pound for pound as possible. So going forward, the grand plan, I guess, is to move up a weight class. So I'll be going up to the 93 kilogram weight class. So for us in the imperial system here in the United States, that's going to be 205 pounds. So instead of competing at 182, I'll be competing at 205 pounds. I'm not going to put that on all overnight, though, and just get fat. So the plan is going to be roughly to gain about 6 pounds a year over the next 3 years. That should take me about 3 years to fill out that weight class. And understanding that over the next year, I might not be as competitive there as, what I currently am, assuming I make weight and not stupid at the 83 kilo weight class. But long term, I think that's going to allow me to put on more muscle mass, because otherwise if I stay in the current weight class, the only thing I can do to get better is just work on skill and technique. And with other people, 43 competitors already better than me, that's a lot of ground to make up just relying on skill and technique. So I looked at the numbers from the next weight class up, and there's still people that even at the lower weight class that I could still outlift. So I think, giving myself 2 to 3 years to sort of pack on some muscle mass gradually and fill that weight class out, and the hope would be, within 3 years to really be at the upper end of that weight class at the same body composition, and see where I am then. I'm only, I'm 30 years old right now. I'm in the open division until I'm 40, so I've only been competing for 5 years, so I still have, another decade of competition in the open division. So if I can fill that weight class out in the next 3 years, that gives me 7 more years to fine-tune skill, and the ultimate goal is to qualify for the Arnold Classic Raw Challenge, as long as I keep having that, which requires, as of right now, a Wilks score of 440. My best Wilks score currently is 416, so that's sort of the next stepping stone. And I'd like to place, top 5 in the nation, before it's all said and done. So I think those are feasible things that I can do if I fill that weight class out. And when I step on the national stage again, it's sort of dependent. Once they post up the 2018 Nationals, I'm going to sort of see where that's going to be located. Usually they post those up, 6 to 8 months out in advance. Next year is going to be in Orlando. If the 2018 Nationals is closer than Orlando, then that will be my next national level meet. If it is further than Orlando, then I will plan on trying to get back down to Nationals in 2017. Using a spring meet here at some point this year to qualify, re-qualify for Nationals. So that's sort of the plan going forward. I won't have to worry about the weight cutting, and it's definitely easier to recover and accumulate more training volume, and it's just more enjoyable to eat more food and gain weight. So that's sort of the plan going forward, and I will update people as the next meet approaches. And thanks again for everybody that supported me. And all the well wishes for Pat Whiting helping contribute to expenses going down to compete, and I'll let you guys go.